Welcome, everybody. So we have people from all over the place. Well, we are so excited that you guys are joining us for our very first day of the Give Back Hour. I am Molly Yuska. I'm the founder of PGK. We have so many wonderful nonprofit partners, and we thought everybody's looking for service opportunities they can do from home. Let's keep this great thing going. So we have our friends at Catie's Closet here with us tonight. We are doing a project we have never done before, and I will be honest, I am super excited about cleaning out closets. I can say at my house, we need to do this a whole lot more often than we do. So I'm excited to have Catie walk us through this, and Biddy from our Youth Advisory Council is here. So we are going to dive into this. A few quick things that we're just going to cover as a part of just getting started here. A little bit of housekeeping. First, I just want to introduce, and if you guys can wave who we have on the phone here. Sorry, Leslie, I'm jumping you all around. As I said, I'm Molly Yuska. I'm the founder of Project Giving Kids. We have our awesome team here, most especially Leslie Zales, who's at the controls, who is our Boston Outreach and Relationship Manager, really covering pretty much the whole Northeast for us at this point. We have Catie from Catie's Closet. We're going to introduce her in a little bit, who's got so many interesting things to tell you. Biddy is from our Youth Advisory Council. She's in New Jersey, joining us from there tonight. And we have a couple other PGK team members on here too. So Kristen is our executive director, and Dr. Sharon is our West Coast Outreach and Relationship Manager. So we have lots of PGK people here, but we're most excited that you guys are all here to join us. So just a few quick ground rules. We cover these in every session that we do. I know everybody's like a Zoom expert at this point, but please just, because one of the things we will do is just cross-check who's here versus who registered. So please update your screen name to make sure it matches how you registered. I know my kids don't always put the same name up there, so that would be super helpful. Please keep your video on because we want to see you. Part of the goal of this is to make this as interactive as we can be in a virtual sense, because I think everybody just gets so much more out of it. So leave it on. If you need to step away, turn it off. If you're really not comfortable, just make sure we get to see you at some point during the hour. We are recording this session, so just, we disclose that I think in the registration, but just be aware of that. If you have a question, feel free to use the raise hand feature. Drop it in the chat, whatever's more comfortable for you. Sharon's going to be watching all the questions coming in and stopping us and making sure we address that. So just, whatever you're comfortable with, we will get to you as quickly as we can. If there's anything, sometimes we do projects that involve like scissors and stuff that little kids maybe shouldn't be handling alone. So if you need an adult's help for anything, please ask. And I would say, be sure you ask your parents, if you take anything out of that closet tonight or this afternoon, double check that they're okay, that it exits before you send it off to Catie, because we don't want to get in trouble for anybody, getting rid of, mom's favorite sweater that maybe you don't like. So just double check on that one. And then if you miss anything, we will email you all the details after this session. So don't panic. We're going to get to a lot of stuff like where do these go? What's the address? Whatever. We'll cover all of that. And like I said, if you miss it, we will circle back. This is from our series of videos around the different causes that we collect our information around on the website. Tonight's theme is begin with basics. And so we have a quick little video we'd love to show you just to kind of set the stage.
Homelessness affects all kinds of people. Families, seniors, veterans, victims of fire, those living with an illness or disability, and even those trying to get by working minimum wage jobs. Many are unable to find affordable housing and must choose between having food, medicine, or a consistent place to rest. Helping those in need is about more than providing a shower, a bed, or a warm meal. At stake are not only the privacy and security that come from having a roof over one's head, but also the stability and independence that come with having a place to call home. While providing shelter is important, it means little without the support and aid to complement it. Lasting change requires tackling a number of interrelated economic, social, political, and cultural factors. The vulnerable among us often don't have the resources, be they adequate healthcare, education, or job skills, or social supports needed to alter their circumstances. Tackling such a big problem can seem daunting, but there are steps you can take to help meet some of the immediate needs of those facing such challenging circumstances. You can advocate for affordable housing, put together housewarming baskets for those transitioning to permanent homes, donate furniture, or hold a drive for basic goods like shoes or diapers. Ready to get started? Brought to you by PGK and the Prindle Institute for Ethics.
So that video, as I said, is from our website where we organize information around our themes. A lot of our Begin with Basics category covers homelessness. Today's project isn't necessarily focused specifically on that, but it is focused on people who are having a hard time accessing clothing that they, necessarily want and need, especially as seasons change. And our partner here is from Boston, so seasons definitely change there. So I am going to toss it over to Catie to go into much more detail about what their organization does, how today is going to make a difference, and we're going to get to it.
Hi friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a good day. If you're in Boston like I am, I hope you're staying nice and warm. We got a little bit of snow last night, so I had to shovel off my car. I don't know if all of you are driving yet, but that is something you will definitely experience if you continue to live in New England. Today, we're going to be cleaning out our closets. So Catie's Closet provides free clothing and toiletries to students in need. We do this by partnering with schools to develop a permanent in-school resource where students can go shop for free. So when school is in session normally and everything is in-person learning, students are able to go to the closet anytime they need to and get what they need. If they have a bathroom accident, perhaps they get their period unexpectedly, if they have a recess accident, or if they show up wearing clothing that is inappropriate for the weather, like they show up without a winter jacket in January, all they need to do is go to the closet, pick out something that they like, that they feel good about, and go right back to class. So today you're going to be helping us out by finding things that you no longer need, things that no longer fit, that are in great condition, that will be donated to Catie's Closet and given to students who essentially don't have access to clothing that they need. So if you guys are, in your rooms or in your closets, or if you're just listening to execute this a little bit later, the first thing you'll need is clothing that is new or gently used. So we're going to make sure that it's in good condition. It doesn't have any tears. It doesn't have any rips or stains. So you'll check the collar, the armpits, the sleeves, the bottoms of your pants. And then you'll need something to pack your donations in. So if you have a box that you can mail it in, or if you're local to the area, kitchen garbage bags work really well. At the very end, we will provide a shipping label to you guys if you'd like to ship it to Catie's Closet, but we will also provide some alternatives if you guys are not local to Boston or the Merrimack Valley, Dracut, where our other location is. We will provide some options, places local to you that you can donate to and help out. So let's head to your closets if you guys gotta get up and go there. And our Youth Advisory Council member, Vidi, is going to be working with you guys today. She's going to be going through our closet as well. So you have an example of what the process kind of looks like.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vidi, and so I'm going to be going through my closet. So I first have these pants, which are too small for me, and I've checked them. There's no tears. They're still, in good condition. So I'm just going to put them to the side to put in my box later. I also have a t-shirt over here, which is also small, but it is a bit dirty, so I'm going to wash it before donating it. And I'm also going to put this into a different pile, and I'm going to keep doing that with the rest of my clothes. So you guys can also do that. And while everyone's doing that or just listening, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Youth Advisory Council. So the Youth Advisory Council is a group of around 20 teenagers from across the country, and we provide feedback and a teen's voice to the PGK staff. We meet monthly as a whole group, and we have our own committee meetings throughout the month. There are 4 committees. We have the tech committee, which reviews apps, websites, and comes up with remote programs just like this. We have the program committee that participates in virtual volunteering sessions like the Give Back Hour. We have our marketing committee that works with social media content and campaigns. And then we have the community service and team bonding committee, which comes up with fun activities for our team members to do. We have different leadership positions, and we all take on different responsibilities, and we work together as leaders and groups. Lastly, we all have different strengths. We come from different backgrounds. We all have different interests, and we are always welcoming new members. You can always sit in on one of our meetings just to get a feel for the group and, before committing. And personally, I love being a part of the Youth Advisory Council. I've met so many new people, and it's really a great experience and opportunity.
Thanks so much, Vidi. Can you let us know, what's happening in your closet and why is this a good time for you?
Yeah, so I'm actually currently in the process of moving, so I need to get rid of some new clothes, or not new clothes. I have to get rid of some old clothes that don't fit me anymore and have been shoved in the back of my closet. So I've just been going through and, just making sure everything's, clean, smells nice and not, really gross. It's thrown in the back of my closet. Just making sure everything's still in good condition. And I think it's a really great time for me to do this since I'm in the process of moving.
You got to get rid of anything? Show us what you're getting rid of.
Yeah, so I actually, it just fell somewhere, but I found it. This shirt I've had since I think a couple years, and it's pretty small for me now. I don't know if you can see it that well. So I'm going to get rid of this. I have some jeans. Let's see if I can pull them. These are also kind of small now, and I'm gonna donate these. They're inside out, but these are some jeans I'm gonna donate. I have a couple more t-shirts I can show you. This is also pretty small, just a pretty plain t-shirt, nothing too exciting about it, but still it'll be great. It's clean, pretty simple. I have these nice plaid pajamas, which would be nice as well. So I'm going to donate those.
And do
So
you need to, that's great. They all look like they're clean and in great condition. And if they're not smelling too good, right, everyone should just throw them in the washing machine before you donate them.
Yeah.
Vidi, do you have any siblings, boys or brothers or sisters?
Yeah, so I have a younger brother. He is in 7th grade.
And so great. So you should get him to clean out his clothes too, because someone asked me earlier, is Catie's closet just for girls? No, it's for all types of clothing. So please, encourage all sexes to donate their clothing, clean clothing. And even if your parents have really hip, cool clothing that kids would want to wear, you can hit them up too.
Catie, could you talk a little bit? I think this is a perfect time as people are heading into their closets. Can you talk a little bit about the sizes that you need the most, the items that you need the most, the stuff that you really can't, keep on your shelves that would be most helpful for people to kind of have in the back of their mind as they venture into their drawers and their closets?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Molly. Thank you. So we take all sizes. We serve K through 12 because our program functions in schools. But I really like to tell people that we think of ages 0 to 22 plus. There are some kids who have siblings that aren't in school yet. And if, you have clothing insecurities, there's a pretty good chance your family is experiencing it as well. We have young parents who are still in high school. And then we also serve some alternative high schools that serve students up to ages of 22. And some of these kids have dropped out of school due to being young parents, gang violence, other related issues, or perhaps they might have special needs. So they stay in school a little bit longer with very hands-on programming. So we're always happy to take every size, especially if it's new. Honestly, a lot of our kids have never had anything new before. So it makes them feel really great when they do receive something that still has its tags on it that maybe you didn't need any longer, or doesn't fit you, or you're not wearing as much as you thought you would. So that's always really great. We have a lot of friends and companies that host drives, so they choose things off of our Amazon wish list and send them directly to us, and that always feels really good knowing that we can give these items to our students.
And so because you are in Boston, as we mentioned, where seasons change and they are very distinct, can you take anything, since we are in winter? Do you really want people to focus in on winter things? Do you have the storage ability to take summer stuff and stick it away until that time comes? Talk to us about all of that.
Yeah, so we have 2 locations for right now, but we are expanding nationally. So there will be affiliates across the nation, which is very exciting. We've just opened one in Long Island, and we'll open one in California, probably, hopefully, before the end of the year. We can take clothing regardless of what season it is. We do have a fair amount of storage. And then once we receive it, our team, which is very small, it's only 5 people, we process through the donations to make sure that it's age appropriate, to make sure that it's school appropriate, it's something kids would like, and it's something that we would feel good about giving to our students. A lot of the times I tell kids and parents who want to donate, if they think it's something that they would be happy giving to their kids or buying for their kids or receiving if you're a student, then that's exactly the kind of donation that we're looking for. So we take things all year round. We just hoard them for all year. So winter coats at the end of spring, typically we'll get a lot of, but also at the beginning of winter. And that's been a huge need right now. It's been especially hard this year. If you guys are in Boston or you understand the cold, it gets quite cold out there. And some of our students do experience housing insecurity. So they might be homeless, they might be doubling up, they might be in a shelter, and they just don't have access to the things that they need to really stay warm and feel good and stay healthy. So we're very, very excited to be working with Project Giving Kids to help our students get access to the things they need and stay nice and warm.
So everybody, it sounds like Catie would love anything that you find that's in really great condition. The better the condition, the more special it's going to make those students feel. So Vidi mentioned having a pair of really cozy looking, I might add, pajama bottoms that she would like to send off. Talk about those kinds of things. I know it's in school that people are getting things, but can they use, if people have my daughter did dance at one point. If people have things that might not fit for school, but might be really useful in terms of other clothing items, can you talk about those kinds of things that might be nice to have come in as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the schools that we're in do actually use uniforms, but we still collect what we call essentially weekend clothing for those schools. We don't take sports clothing or something that would be necessarily like for an extracurricular, let's say. What you can do is you can Google in your area sports nonprofits. So there's one that we partner with called Good Sports. And what they do is they partner with schools to make sure that the schools have the sports equipment that they need. A lot of the times they serve communities that are very low income, where a majority of the students are living essentially in poverty. So they wouldn't be able to access these opportunities without having access to sports equipment. If, let's say, we went on vacation to somewhere warm and tropical, and we have a t-shirt that says I love Florida, or my grandma went to Puerto Rico and all I got was this t-shirt. Those are absolutely great, and you may have loved wearing them, but I think we can all agree that we like to feel authentic when we're dressing ourselves. And for many of our students, they've never even left Boston, so to wear something that says Puerto Rico on it may not feel like the truest expression of themselves. So we want to avoid vacation shirts or anything that might be local to you guys. If you are in the New England area, we love sports gear. I think everybody loves the Pats, the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins. So if you have anything like that, we'd love to accept it. But perhaps if it's your little league team, or let's say a 5K that you ran, or a summer camp shirt, those might be more appropriate to be donated to somewhere like Savers or Goodwill.
Catie, what about underwear?
Great question. We only take new underwear, socks, and toiletries. So while tonight we're focusing on clothing, Catie's Closet does also provide toiletries and school supplies. So our underwear, our socks, and our toiletries all have to be new. I think nobody would be very happy having to wear someone else's used underwear, and we want to make sure that our students feel great about what they receive.
So you mentioned, Catie, that you have a wish list. Could you drop that maybe in the chat for us? So if there is anybody who's thinking, I've got stuff in my closet, but I might like to send them new socks or new underwear or something else from the wish list, we can include that in our follow-up email too. But it would be great to just drop that now in case anybody's so inclined and wants to help in that way as well. And is there anything, you said you'll take all sizes, all seasons, all whatever. Is there anything that like seems to always be gone? Like anything that is just, you cannot keep it on the shelf because everybody really wants it?
That's a great question. I would say kids clothing a lot of the time. For the parents listening, you know how quickly kids grow. I'm not a parent myself, but I'm learning that very much so. That, sometimes they'll wear something once and grow right out of it within months. So we do go through a lot of kids clothing fairly quickly. We're always happy to accept that. Sizes 5 to I'd say 14. And then I think our next biggest need is really for young men. So they're adult sizes, so men's sizes, but we call them teens because they're still students. But we don't receive a lot of new or very gently used men's clothing. And unfortunately, I think they're one of the populations that have a really high need, because if they are experiencing homelessness and they have housing insecurity, food insecurity, clothing, hygiene insecurity, because they're under 18, they're actually not able to check themselves into shelters. So a lot of the times they might be living with a friend or family if they're lucky, but there is also a pretty good chance that they might be living somewhere else on the street.
So I have a couple of teenage boys, and I'm thinking things like, Adidas t-shirts, joggers, sweatshirts, maybe the occasional polo, so really, typical teenage garb, right, is what you really want to see come in, not necessarily somebody's prom dress, although maybe you have a need for something like that too, but you're looking for a lot of the day-to-day stuff that a typical kid or teen is going to want to put on to go to school if they're not in uniform or otherwise hang out in on the weekends.
Absolutely. It's exactly what you would want to wear, if you have a uniform at school when you come back and you change out of it, or something that you'd feel good about wearing to school. So I went over this a little bit, talking about how we provide free clothing and toiletries. The bottom left photo is an example of what one of our closets looks like. And you can see it's very bright, it's very colorful. The shelves are stocked. So to answer Jacob's question, we'll provide you with a shipping link or a link to request a shipping label at the very end. So you can pack everything up nice. If you'd like to include a note in there, that works as well. But this short video will explain a little more about what Catie's Closet does and how we make a positive impact on our students. What do you guys think? If you guys have reactions on Zoom, you can give me a little like hands up, heart, little confetti coming out of there. Yes, Betsy, great question. You can absolutely donate shoes. We're looking for the same kind of quality. So if they're new or perhaps they've been used once or twice, we would absolutely love to accept them. But anything that you guys are finding that you might no longer need or doesn't fit you, that doesn't quite fit our donation criteria, there are definitely a lot of other locations in your area that could use that clothing. So the video said that we are in, I think, 50 schools and we support 30,000 students. It's a little bit dated. Actually, we are in almost 100 schools across Massachusetts and New Hampshire, also New York a little bit. We've got 3 schools opening there as well. And we serve 50,000 students. So it really does make a difference having these donations come in from you guys. And I think it's great. A lot of people know that when they donate here, the clothing that they've donated is going directly to the students in need. And it doesn't require you guys to create relationships with these students to help them gain access to what they need. So childhood poverty is one of the really big issues. If you wouldn't mind skipping back a slide, it's a huge issue in America right now. Children are the poorest age group in the US. It's very much so related to ethnicity and age. So children that are under 6 are the most likely to be poor. 73% of the poor children are children of color. And it's absolutely disproportionate when you look at the amount of white children on average who are living in poverty. So a lot of these students, they're facing housing insecurity, food insecurity, clothing hygiene insecurity, which essentially means they can't access the things that they need to be happy and healthy and stay warm and feel safe. So a lot of the times it comes down to deciding between paying rent or having dinner for that day. And clothing doesn't even make the top of the list, especially things like toiletries and menstrual products as well.
And what about shoes?
Yeah, we definitely take shoes. We'd love for them to be new or very, very gently used. If anyone else has any questions about the kind of donation criteria we would take, I'd love to answer them for you guys right now. It's also okay if you don't have any questions. I promise we'll be around. But I appreciate that I can see a lot of your closets looking good. You guys are going through them.
So we have a few poll
Awesome.
questions we were going to pose to everybody because inquiring minds want to know if you're in there now or going in later, how often you clean them. We've got a few things that Kristen's loaded up that we'll let her post for us, but there were a few too that Leslie had started to put on screen that we want to come back to too that are a little bit heady or a little bit deeper in terms of your thought. But let's talk about who's actually in their closet now and who's going to do it later. And then how many items have you found so far? How often do you clean your closet? I'm dying to know because I'm going to feel really guilty here in a minute when no one else is in my camp, which is practically never because there's no time. All right. How long are we giving everybody, Kristen? Is this set on a timer?
About half the people have responded. We've got about 12
Okay.
people. So.
All right.
More votes are coming in here.
All right. Are you gonna share those from your side? I'm curious. No, I can't see all of them for some reason on
Oh yeah, I can share. Hopefully everybody can see the results too. So about 50, right down the middle, 50-50. Half of us are cleaning out our closets now and half of us are going to do it later. By and large, we have about 5 to 10 items that we're going to donate, but I love to see that there's a few that have even more than that to donate. That's awesome. And then how often do you clean out your closet? Yeah, about every season, twice a year or so seems to be the, where most people are out, but I would be in the, I can't remember the last time vote.
All right, I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right. Well, we had a few, as I mentioned. Leslie, do you want to pull up the other questions? I think one of the things that, we love to do in these sessions is just hear from you guys, because I think one of the goals in doing this is obviously to get some usable clothing over to Catie so they can get these stocked and into the schools. But it's also to just learn about some problems and some issues that are going on in the world that, quite frankly, if they don't touch us personally, we don't always think about. So we wanted to just ask, what it would feel like if you were the one who had to wear the same outfit every day and you went into your closet and there was nothing there. You got up and there wasn't something clean. What would that feel like? Anybody want to share? I mean, either we can unmute you or you can drop your thoughts into the chat. Any thoughts on just what that would feel like? I know for me, I kind of am a neat freak, so I need my clothes to be clean. I would really personally have a hard time with that if I went to grab something in the morning and it wasn't there, fresh and smelling good or what have you.
If you want to either raise your hand physically or with your reaction button, we'll find you and unmute you. We'd love to hear what you think. I bet you a lot of people in this situation don't even have a closet, never mind an empty closet.
Right. Vanessa said I wouldn't feel too good about myself. I think that's for sure. It would be a confidence, disruptor. I think it would be pretty hard not to feel clean. Yeah, for sure.
We have Viddy. We can unmute Viddy. There we go.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like I'd get frustrated after a point wearing the same exact things and not being able to wear something clean. I'm also a neat freak and I really like having my clothes clean, my desk clean. I like everything clean. So I would also get pretty frustrated and I'd feel bad that I don't have anything else to wear.
Yeah, it's not easy and a big problem and it's hard to feel clean. It really is. So let's flip that, right? What do you feel like when you put on your favorite thing? Like we all have that favorite outfit that when we put it on, we're like, oh, this looks better than normal, or this is my good day, or, whatever. What does it feel like when you have your favorite clean outfit, like waiting for you on a big day for school or just something else that's important to you? Confidence, pride. Yeah. Pride myself on my fashion sense and I feel unhappy and unmotivated if I have to wear the same thing. Confident. Yeah, I think Catie made mention of the fact that, kids miss school, right? Because they don't have something that they want to put on, or they don't have something that's clean, or they're worried that it smells. And it messes with their confidence, but it also carries over then, right, to school and how they perform and their grades. And there are all these other dots, right, that are connected to that I think, again, sometimes we can oversimplify and say, oh, it's just clothes, but clothes mean a lot. And I think certainly at certain stages of life, it means a whole lot. And so having something that you can feel really excited about is a great way to start a day and to walk through that day, with more confidence. All right, so keep your ideas coming. If anybody wants to be unmuted, let us know. So the other question we had was, have you ever worried about not having a safe place to sleep or food to eat or clean clothing to wear or toiletries to use? And again, if you have, what did that feel like? If you haven't, if you've ever even just thought about it, what what do you think that would feel like? Especially when you're in Boston in the winter. I often think about the homeless population in the wintertime, having lived in Boston for 13 years, and that would just not only be uncomfortable, it's unsafe, right? So any thoughts that people want to share just about, putting yourself into that situation? What would any of those things feel like to you?
Molly, I'd actually love to share if that's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So I do have to share a little secret with you guys. I have lived in Boston my whole life. I'm 28 years old. And until I started working at Catie's Closet, I hadn't really ever thought about this kind of stuff. I was really, really lucky to not have to worry about this kind of stuff growing up. But both of my parents worked in Boston public schools for 35 plus years. So this was stuff that they saw on the daily, and it just wasn't stuff that I had to experience. So it was very humbling to learn about these daily challenges that other kids in the world, and not even just in the world, in Boston, in the Massachusetts, in the US, other challenges that they face.
And I think one of the things, I will be honest, that gets me excited is just that you all are responding to that right now, right? You are, through just the act of something that, quite frankly, your mother might be excited about, and I would be excited about if, going into my closet and cleaning it out right now. But you're doing something that is going to directly affect those kids, and what you just said would be a really hard circumstance for you personally to walk through. So I want to commend you guys for taking the time to be here, quite honestly, and taking the time and the care to go through what is in that closet of yours and checking it for stains and rips and tears, and thinking to yourself, like, could this tomorrow or next week or next month be on somebody else, and gives them a whole other chance at having a good day at school, at feeling good about themselves, because that is an amazing gift to offer to somebody else. So thank you all for doing that and taking the time to think about it. And really, quite honestly, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can continue to sort of pay this forward. Just sharing Catie's Closet and this experience, this is something every single one of us can do, right? And some of us should do more often, but this is something that your friends can do next week, next month. They are not going to not need these clothes anytime in the foreseeable future. And as they continue to expand, this is something you can share with your friends, well beyond Boston and in other parts too, and maybe part of what brings Catie's Closet into another school or into another community. So, as I mentioned before, part of the goal of this is education. And now part of this is about helping you guys figure out how you can continue to sort of spiral this or ripple this out into the world. So Cody, you want to talk a little bit about your confidence campaign and what else they can do, just to share?
Absolutely. So before I dive into the confidence campaign, I do want to share our student ambassador program. So this is something that you can participate in regardless of where you are. It involves everything that Molly just talked about, hosting drives to collect clothing to donate to students, sharing what we do on social media, spreading the word about what we do. And it definitely could include something like bringing Catie's Closet to your community. I know even if you live in a community where you may not see it and you may not know about these kinds of issues and challenges that people face, there's a pretty good chance that it does exist. It's just not something that might be at the forefront of your mind. So if you have an interest in that, everything that we have with the Student Ambassador Program can be done remotely and contactlessly. So we created these programs with your safety in mind. So moving on to our confidence campaign, we always enjoy hearing what you guys have to say. And we like to hear about how students feel more confident when they're wearing clothing they feel good in. Our motto is give confidence, give clothing. And we really do believe that. So if you would like to share how clothing makes you confident, or talk about perhaps, and you're open to it, of course, you don't have to, but how not having access to that kind of stuff, clothing and hygiene goods, would really be detrimental to your ability to be your best self and to pay attention in school and to excel in school and to feel good about who you are at school. So if you want to reach out to us on Instagram, on Facebook, or shoot me off an email, we're very responsive. I promise we'll get back to you.
Awesome. So just a few bits and pieces here in terms of next steps. Again, all of this will be in the follow-up email that we will be sending out. But we would love for you to go to our Give Back Hour page. Some of you may have been there, may have been how you got to this session registration to begin with. There's a super quick impact survey. We want to know how many things you ultimately end up peeling out of that closet and sending off to Codia. So there's a quick survey that will tell us what you're doing and also give us a little bit of feedback. There is also a donation slip. We'd love for you to include include when you send that off, so that when things get to Codia's team, they know that that came from, this session and was part of the PGK initiative, the Give Back Hour piece of that. You can, if you're local and you want to drop it off at one of their 2 locations, as she mentioned, they have a contactless drop off, easy to do, or you can mail it. I was so excited when Catie said we could get a packing label, that prepaid packing label, so we can just send these off, so you guys don't have to incur the cost of that, which is awesome. I know we have a bunch of teens on this, and if you would like this community service hour signed off on, just email our info account at projectgivingkids.org, and somebody on our team will validate that service hour. Send us whatever you have. I know every school is a little different. Some people use online systems, some use paper. Whatever you need, send that over here, and we'll kind of direct it internally and make sure that somebody gets that back to you, so you can turn that in and have that validated. One of our favorite things is to see your pictures. So we have a virtual photo booth. I think we already dropped that link in the chat. Maybe Sharon can drop it again. Take a picture of your clean closet. We want to see it. And we would love for you to share it on social media. Again, think about how your moment here in that picture might inspire somebody else to go put a box of clothes together and send it to Catie too, because I think it's really powerful, the example that you guys are setting. So share that with friends and family, share it on social media. These are our handles. Again, we'll stick that in the follow-up email, and just come back. I mean, we're gonna continue to do these give back hours. You can register for another session on our website every day. There are hundreds of other things you can do if you are looking for something in this COVID time to do from home. We also have a Give Back app. If you have not downloaded that, you can track this activity. You can track all of your activities in there and see your impact accumulate over time. Also keep a record of that for future service hour needs, whatever you may need that for. Definitely check out Catie's Closet as they continue to grow. Their website list is there. And we've dropped this earlier in the chat too, but if you're interested in joining Vidi and our amazing group of teens on the Youth Advisory Council, want to know more about that, email Leslie and she will follow up with you, chat with you, make sure some of the people from our leadership team on the YAC chat with you, so you can get a better sense of what that is all about. And yeah, I mean, just a quick minute just about PGK. We kind of already talked about the ways you can continue to get involved and pay it forward. In case you don't know us well though, we do have our website. We do have the Give Back app I just mentioned. In the fall, we have a Create the Change Day and or week, depending upon whether we have to do it virtually or in person. Also have a ton of resources on our website. If you go to it, check out the Learn tab, because we have organized again around those causes, videos, book lists, lesson plans, all sorts of things that you can dive a little bit deeper into these things that might be of interest to you and places where you might want to help. So please be sure to check all that out. It's all free. It's all available all the time. And then obviously our Youth Advisory Council that we just mentioned. So we would love to see you back on another one of these. Here's our contact information. Good job, you guys. We really appreciate you being here. I know Catie really appreciates all your efforts, and those kids that are going to get just found are going to appreciate you all the most. So thanks for doing it. Thanks for giving back and joining us for the Give Back Hour. We hope we see you back soon.
Yes, and before you ship your stuff, get a sibling or a friend to join you and send a larger donation. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night. See you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.